Why the is my sound nowhere? Oh, there we go. Okay, hey everybody, welcome back. This is mostly gonna be a video explaining my my materials that I use to do my effects makeup. I'm going to be, showing you what everything is. I'm gonna try to accurately guess the prices because I want to get you guys on the right foot, and I want it to be as inexpensive as possible because let's face it, I'm a university student and I'm poor. So let's get started. I have this really annoying section of my hair sticking up and I don't understand why. Okay, so I'm gonna stop worrying about my hair now because that makes me sound like a little. Okay. So I guess what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna show you guys my little basket of magic. You can't really see very much because everything's just kind of piled in there. It used to be in a Ziploc bag. It's not anymore because that was just a mess and it was really annoying. So I went to the dollar store and I bought this pretty little basket thing. So yeah, nice little basket, and it's got all my stuff in it now. Just note that this is not my usual material. What I'm used to working with is it's higher quality because we used to have simulation theatrical makeup from its Marin brand from St. John's Ambulance Simulations. I don't know where the hell we got it. My mom's in the military. I think she had it because we worked at a haunted house or something. Like, we've had this for years. Well, we had this for years. When I moved to Toronto, my mother thought that it was old and expired and decided to get rid of it. Thanks, Mom. I really appreciate that. So I went out and I bought some new stuff. I haven't been able to find anywhere to buy Marin brand in Toronto. The Halloween store that I used to work with in Kingston had this stuff, but obviously I never took advantage of buying it because I didn't think I was gonna need it. So now I'm a little but I found some good replacement stuff. It's really good for if you're a beginner or, if you just want to like maintain the hobby. If you're a professional makeup artist, I don't exactly advise using this stuff because let's face it, it's kind of cheap. But hey, I'm a university student and I'm poor, so cheap is good. Okay, so a good place to start, I guess, is from the base, work your way, I guess you kind of work your way outwards with this. So whenever I'm doing a simulation of a wound of any sort, whether it's a gash, a lesion, scarring in general, a headshot to the forehead, anything like that, I like to use a base of a realistic bruising base, I guess I can call it that, using a variety of colors that, if you're going to sit there and punch yourself in the arm, it's going to leave a bruise. It's going to, I want it to be bruise colored, it looks like you actually got punched in the face. So this is what I'm using at the moment. Yeah, the cheap little kits that you can buy at Walmart or something? That's what I'm using. I guess I can say I advocate using cheaper paint because if you're using cheaper grease paint or face paint of any sort, then you can use that money that you save to buy higher grade everything else to make it, to just, make the effect pop, so it doesn't look like somebody just like smudged a bunch of shit on your face and said you're a zombie. So yeah, this I don't think I got this at Walmart actually. I'm pretty sure I got this at a Halloween store. Just those generic Halloween stores that pop up every 1st of October. Yeah. Yeah, when I worked in a Halloween store, I really didn't like those places. I try not to shop there as much as possible, but sometimes I don't have a choice, like in Toronto. So yeah, generic Halloween face paint. It comes in a plethora of the most generic colors under the sun, which isn't such a bad thing. But really, if you could find a palette that has only like, red, black, brown, purple, green, blue, and white, you'd be good to go. And I'm pretty sure they actually sell some kits like that. But, it's nice to have some of the other colors, like if you want to add yellow to make it an older bruise, but that's just going completely off topic now, so I'm going to stop. Yeah, cheap paint. This can't have cost me more than like $5. It's not bad stuff. It usually comes with makeup brushes and sponges. If you're into using that kind of stuff, if I'm doing a base, I prefer to just use my hands. It's a lot easier. It makes application and spreading, it's like simple. So that's why I only have a couple of makeup brushes left in this thing, because I don't use them and I lose them. Yeah. Okay, so cheap paint, awesome stuff. Okay, continuing on with paint. I have another palette. It's a little bit more pricey than the other one because it's a kit. I'm not gonna lie, I can't remember the supplier or the brand of it. I'm sure if I were not a lazy fuck, I could look it up online. But let's face it, I am in a lazy fuck right now, and I really don't feel like looking for it. If you want to do me that huge service, you know, you'll win the internet, and you won't get my gratitude, but that'll be kind of cool. A fun little project for you on the weekend. Yeah, slightly more expensive paint kit. It's, this glare is really ridiculous. Oh, there we go. As you can tell, I've used a lot of the white. I think this was a zombie paint kit, hence the putrid green color and the browns and like pukey yellow color. This is really good for, you know, especially when you're doing something undead, so obviously zombie kit, you know, use it to make a zombie. This glare! So yeah, this one was probably more like $7 to $10 range. It's definitely worth it. It's a better grease paint than the other stuff from Walmart or the Halloween store or whatever. You can buy this at a Halloween store, of course. Walmart probably has it. It comes in a cardboard thingy, like it's sealed. Yeah. So I went a little French on you there. I apologize. Yeah, slightly more expensive, better quality stuff. So you can always invest in the stuff. It's not necessary, but I like to use it sometimes. Next up is the stuff that you're going to be using to, you know, actually make the wounds. This stuff is indispensable. It is necessary if you're going to be doing anything beyond bruising or face paint. Normally I use Marin brand. I have a habit of calling it Derma Wax because that's the stuff that I used to have. It was really, really good stuff. Can't find it in Toronto. My life. I did find a really nice alternative. So this is, it's a good reputable brand. It's Ben Nye Nose and Scar Wax. So it'll come in a container like this. I know, it looks kind of gross. Yeah, especially because I've really carved into it. I don't have very much. I got quite a bit left, but I could use that up pretty quickly. So yeah, this stuff smells like really bad and it sticks to your hands. It's hard to get off. Basically, the way that this stuff works is I tend to gouge it out of the container with a knife or something. Butter knife, please don't cut yourself. I would feel really bad. I wouldn't feel. I'd probably laugh at you. But yeah, I tend to gouge out with a knife or spoon. It's easier if you wet your hands with cold water and then like dry them off really well because it sticks. Obviously, it sticks to your face. Like a lot of brands require spirit gum or something tacky to stick it to your skin. But if you do, the way that I do it, because you're rubbing it into your skin and using the heat of your hands to apply it and make it stick. Obviously, if your hands are really hot at the beginning, then it's going to stick all over your hands and make a huge mess and it's not going to work. The amount of times I've had frustration, the amount of times that I've been frustrated because the stuff stuck on my hands and not on my face, it's ridiculous. So I'm just going to give you that little tip that I learned the hard way. Wet hands with cold water, dry really well, because then if they're too wet, they're going to make this wet and it's not going to stick to your face. There's no winning with this stuff. But once you learn to conquer the evil, it's pretty good stuff. Because, I mean, look at, you can do anything with it. The sky's the limit. So yeah, mine is in NW2 Fair because I'm pasty white. And it's extremely malleable. Like, I really, I don't know what the hell is in it. It's stuck on my hands forever. I hope you guys are happy. I can't get it off. Which is why, one of the reasons you should always have, ta-da, an old face cloth. As you can tell, I use this quite often. for my makeup stuff. It's good for wiping your hands off when you've been painting. Wipe your brushes or anything off if you've been painting with a brush, your fingers. Get this off your hands after scrubbing profusely. I don't know if I can use profusely there, but that's okay. I'm linguistically confused, so that's fine. This is the stuff that you're gonna use as not as the base, but as the actual scar itself. So say you're doing the headshot recreation, and I don't know where I'm going with this. Say you're doing the headshot recreation. You're going to take about a quarter sized amount of the dermal wax, roll it into a ball, flatten it a bit, okay? Stick it on the area that you want it to go. I'm gonna have a tutorial for this, by the way, so it'll be a lot easier than me just doing these random gestures looking like a complete idiot. And you guys will probably understand a lot better if I do it that way. You're gonna put it on your face and you're gonna like feather the edges out because you want it to stick to your face. So you just like really like drag it across your forehead and flatten it, pat it down, do anything to make it stick. And then what I like to do, if you're doing the headshot, you're gonna make an impression in it. So you can use your finger, you can use a pen, you can use anything. I like to use a pen more because you can also gouge into the thing at the same time. So you gouge into it and, you know, make it look like, you know, we all play video games. We all know what it looks like to be shot. So just, you know, do that. Quick little thing I forgot to say. After you've used the derma wax and it has adhered to your face and, you know, you don't feel like it's going to fall off completely, the bruising pattern that you did underneath the wound, do it on top of and on the skin because it's going to make it look just that much. It's my dog. Well, this is one of my dogs. This is Hugo. He's probably going to distract me and everybody else. Do the bruising colors, especially focus on red and blue and a bit of black maybe. You know, make it look as realistic as possible. You can look up images on Google on anything. You can use my pictures are kind of hard to use because, you know, they're all bloodied and everything already. Just make it look as realistic as possible. You all know what a bruise looks like. Just do that. Yeah. My dog is still here. Hi, Hugo. Next up, so once you've done that, you've painted, you've put on the fake skin, you've painted over it. The fun part is going to be bloodying yourself up. Yeah, this is my favorite part. That sounds really sadistic. Right now I have two different kinds of blood. They're, let's face it, they're pretty cheap. This one's obviously better quality and there's a hell of a lot more of it, you know. I've had this for like 2 years now, I think, and I've only gotten through about that much. So, unless you want to like douse yourself in the stuff, which I don't advise doing, especially if you have blonde hair like mine because the stains. Looks and flows like real blood. Incredible blood red color. That's a little odd. You can buy this at a Halloween store. You might be able to buy it at Walmart. I'm really not sure, but you know, I don't know if Value Village sells stuff like huge quantities of this stuff, but you know, Value Village is always a good place to look. I don't know, I don't think everywhere has a Value Village. Value Village, best place ever. I have to buy most of my clothes there because I'm too small to fit into anything else. Strangely enough. Wild tangent. This is a cheap, you know, Ruby's brand. Ruby's has really cheap, reasonable Halloween stuff. You know, I've been using them for years for cheap. That huge paint palette that I have is probably Ruby's brand. I like having blood in a tube because this tends to make things a lot easier. So when you want blood dripping down your face, you know, you can just take the tube and like squeeze and, you know, boom. I don't think it makes that noise, but yeah, boom. And then this stuff is better for applying. I know you all know what a Q-tip looks like. Apply it with a Q-tip. Just swab in the area. Not swab, like put a lot on the Q-tip. Like you want it to start dripping off the Q-tip and put it in. Lots of dabbing involved and everything. Yeah. If you are going to go a bit pricier on the blood, which is something that I do tend to do, make it more realistic, I would advise buying something it's coagulated blood. It's a slightly more gelatinous solution, and you know, it looks, especially if you've been shot in the head, it looks a lot better. Blood, like certain kinds of blood, and your skin derma wax, skin putty, that's stuff that you kind of want to splurge on. But you know, paint is cheap. Buy cheap paint. Blood is good. If you're like me and you like doing FX makeup often and you like using a lot of blood, bigger bottles are better. I can't speak. The more the better. Yeah. That basically sums up the grand majority of my stuff. I have little miscellaneous materials that they're not necessary, but if you want it to look a lot more realistic, then it's better to have some of these things. I'm pretty sure every girl has it, and I'm really running low on this stuff, but cover up. Even if you're the most manly, masculine man, I would advise buying cover up instead of paint that's, you know, skin colored, because this is meant to match your skin tone. It blends into your skin really well. And instead of walking around looking like you've been slapped in the face with coal because you've got too much black on your face, you can just even it out with some cover up. Kitchen utensils. I like to use knife and spoon. As you can tell, I've used it quite a bit. That's really nasty. To gouge out and sometimes to flatten on your face. Chapstick for if you're going to be doing any work with your lips. I like to do bruising and cuts on my lips a lot. And, you know, my lips are just naturally dry because they hate me. So chapstick is good. Plethora of Q-tips is always good. You can always get these the paint sticks that come in paint kits sometimes. They're not so bad. I tend not to use them just because it's like with crayons. I have a tendency to break them. This is why we can't have nice things, because I break them. What else do I have in here? Yes. I will sometimes use a paintbrush for when you want to color inside of a cut or something. It's really good to use a paintbrush. I really don't know what else to say. It's a paintbrush. It's awesome. It's for painting. I really don't know what this thing is. I think I do. I think it's meant to go in your hair. I got it at the dollar store. I thought it was really cool when I was younger. It's really heavy. Like, either my hair is a lot thinner than I thought it was, or I have no neck muscles, but it's really heavy. It's like a little stick thing, and it has this really good, like, end tip thing for dragging through a cut. So yeah, I guess it looks really girly, but it looks really cool. You know, it's a nice little. It makes you look really nice when you're cutting your face up. Random tool that I have in here that, you know, might trip some people out is nail scissors. To make some of my cuts, I will use the nail scissors. If you do this, be very careful. Obviously, you're playing with scissors. And, you know, you can kind of like cut up skin in little areas. That's really not the safest thing to be doing near my face. Make it look more realistic, like skin's been like shredded or something. So yeah, I think that basically covers it. My hands are disgusting right now because my material is all gross and I really need to wash it or get new stuff. But yeah, so those are the materials that I like to use. So I leave you with dog butt. This won't turn off.
Wanna go for a ride?